Coming up on this Friday morning edition of DITV, we give you the latest on the Parkland shooting court case.
And later, President Bruce Harrell tells Daily Iowan what he thinks is hurting the school.
I'll bring you an update on the steel tariff signed by the president Thursday afternoon.
Mid-40s temperatures, cloudy skies, and an update on the East Coast winter storm. Find out more in weather.
All that and more coming right up.
Don't go anywhere. DITV starts right now.
Good morning and thanks for tuning in. I'm Becca Scadden.
And I'm Susanna Closter. We bring you the latest from Florida. Nicholas Cruz, 19-year-old gunman of the Parkland shooting, withdrew his guilty plea after being indicted on 34 counts of murder and premeditated murder. Previously, Cruz had filed not guilty before the charges were brought against him. While the not guilty plea would have saved him from the death penalty, it is now an option for his sentencing. We will tell you more as more information is released.
In political news, President Trump signed an executive order yesterday that would impose a new tariff on certain imports.
DITV political reporter Bo Bowman is now standing in the newsroom with the update. Bo?
Thanks, guys. President Trump signed an executive order yesterday that will impose tariffs on steel and aluminum imports. These tariffs will be applied to imports from all countries except for Canada and Mexico. Most of Trump's administration was still uncertain exactly what he would be signing until yesterday afternoon. An administration official said the final order would include a built-in mechanism that will allow the president to exclude and add certain countries in the future. Trump used a rarely employed trade provision in the order for this order to pass Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act of 1962. Utilizing this provision claims a national security rationale for protecting domestic steel and aluminum industries. This move could put the U.S. at odds with the international community. More than 100 other members of the GOP wrote to Trump urging him to reconsider the idea of broad tariffs to avoid the unintended negative consequences. Now that's all I have for you guys in the studio. Come back after spring break where we'll take a look at Ron Corbett's campaign for governor. Guys at the desk, back to you.
Well, Becca, spring break is just one day away, and I'm hoping for some good weather. What are you thinking?
Yeah, absolutely, Susanna. Honestly, I'm ready to get out of Iowa and head somewhere warm. But before we talk about spring break weather, let's toss over to John in the weather studio for more on what's going on the East Coast. John?
Thanks, guys. For those of you traveling out east over spring break, expect some extreme winter weather. As you can see on the map behind me, there's a high chance that the East Coast will be hit with another coastal winter storm in the next few days, which would make it the third of the week. Some areas have accumulated up to 2 feet of snow. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo advised New Yorkers to stay home and seek shelter if they were experiencing loss of power, which has been a problem for many. The New York Governor also plans to double the number of National Guard troops in the region. It is estimated that 60 million Americans are in the storm's path and already 3,000 flights have been canceled. This is not a storm to mess with. Luckily, no major storms headed Iowa City's way. Spring break is finally upon us. Let's jump right into it. This afternoon, we'll bring you cloudy skies with a high temperature of 42 degrees. Tonight, you will see partly cloudy skies with a low temperature of 25 degrees. Now, let's take a look at how Iowa City will fare over break. Tomorrow, you'll see mostly cloudy skies with a high temperature of 46 degrees in the afternoon, and at night, a low temperature of 31 degrees. On Sunday, expect cloudy skies with afternoon high temperatures in the upper 40s, and at night, low temperatures in the upper 20s. Sunny skies on Monday with highs in the mid-40s in the afternoon and overnight lows in the mid-20s. On Tuesday afternoon, you will see partly cloudy skies with high temperatures in the lower 40s and at night, lows in the mid-20s. Finally, on Wednesday, expect mostly sunny skies with afternoon highs in the lower 50s and overnight lows in the lower 30s. Overall, this spring break weather is looking pretty promising. If you look past next Wednesday, we will be seeing upper 50s and lower 60s temperatures. So with that being said, make sure you get outside over break. Have a great break, everyone, and enjoy the warm temperatures. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, John. This past week, we here at the Daily Iowan and DITV got to sit down and talk to University President Bruce Harrell for a special question and answer session. President Harrell touched on a variety of topics such as tuition, administrator departures, and other issues. Harrell spoke in length about what he and the tuition task force had noticed.
We're under-resourced. That was a conclusion. It was pretty clear. And then we also realized that the problem with the 2 + 2 is it never really got to 4. It really didn't work.
For more of that Q&A, check out the highlights on the front page of the Daily Iowan today.
With spring break just a day away, many students are getting ready to leave Iowa City for vacation. But not everyone will be relaxing in a far-off destination this spring break. The 2018 Alternative Spring Break programs are going to 16 different locations to serve a community in need outside of Iowa. Sophomore Rachel Sears tells us more about what she's expecting to do in her service trip in La Crosse, Wisconsin.
While we're there, we'll be going to the food pantry and serving meals, helping out there and seeing what they need done. And we will also be doing Habitat for Humanity build one of the days. And then another day we'll be working at the Catholic Worker House and making and serving a meal.
Stay tuned with DITV after we return from spring break, where I tell you more about what they accomplished on their service trips. So Becca, spring is finally here and it's baseball season. What are you thinking?
Yes, Susanna, finally baseball season. We have Mary Kate and Zach in the sports studio with our pregame show.
Thanks, guys. Well, happy Friday. Welcome into our Iowa Baseball pregame show where we break down everything you need to know about Iowa baseball. Once again, I'm Mary Kate Harrian, and here with me is the voice of Iowa baseball, Zach Mackey. So, Zach, thanks for being here. Let's start it off. Thoughts on the start of the season. They are currently sitting at 8-2 and have had the best start to a season since 2015. Before last weekend, they were ranked in the top 4 in the Big Ten in both hitting and pitching. They have the 3rd best ERA and 4th best batting average. Not a bad start to the season.
No, it's been really good so far. 8-2. It just shows you though how close you could lose some of those games. I mean, baseball's just so close back and forth. And the thing that Coach Heller's been preaching to the guys so far is that hey, they haven't been playing their best baseball, and yet they're still finding a way to win, which is good. But yet you got to get to that point now where you're not committing so many errors defensively. You start to find your rhythm offensively as well.
Well, we have talked about this in the past, but Iowa's Friday starter Nick Allgaier is back after recovering from Tommy John surgery and has also started off the season very strong. Allgaier has had 19 strikeouts in just 3 starts. He got his first victory on Friday and second quality start of the season. What have you been seeing out of Nick, and how important is he to this team kicking off each series for them?
Well, huge. Nick has come out just guns a-blazing, and I don't know if anyone really expected him to be this good coming right off that surgery. He's been with 3 quality starts now, 3 times out. He's 1-0 on the year right now, and he's been giving Iowa a real good 5 these last 2 outings, now 7 innings to be able to rely on, and it just sets you up so good. Not only do you get a win on Friday night, but yet he saves that bullpen on the backside. Maybe only one guy's got to go, and then you have a little bit more leeway for Saturday and Sunday.
Well, another captain has been having a great start to his senior season. Tyler Cropley has been named to the Johnny Bench Award watch list. The award is given annually to the top Division I collegiate catcher. 97 catchers were nominated for this award by their coaches. The list will be narrowed down to semifinalists on May 16th, and a national voting panel will determine the 3 finalists at the end of May. To me, so happy for him. He is so deserving of this nomination, not just a great player, but he's such a great leader for this team as well.
Yeah, 96 guys. And my goodness, you got to believe, though, that Tyler Cropley's up there near the top. He's been so good defensively, and he's really had it here in the beginning of the season now offensively. Last season, he kind of struggled hitting about 100 those first couple of weekends, but yet he never let it affect his defense. And this year, though, the offense is coming along for the ride as well. Nothing bad defensively to talk about, and offensively he's hitting around 320 or so. So he's off just guns a-blazing after these first couple of weekends.
Well, here's what Tyler and Coach had to say on his nomination.
Well, it's something that we all knew to begin with, that he's one of the better catchers in the country. And, the fact that, others are recognizing that's a great thing for Tyler. But, he's played really well so far this season. He was one of the guys that really had a pretty good offensive weekend at UAB, drove in some runs and had some clutch hits. And then, his catching is always, at a really high level.
It is a big honor. Just being nominated by the coaches, it feels really good to have them see what I've been doing this year. It's more of a motivation thing. I'm not really nervous about it. It's just something that comes with playing the game the way I know I can.
Well, the guys and Zach here get to start their spring break in a pretty nice place, I would say. They're heading down to Las Vegas today to take on UNLV. This is not the first time facing this team, as they swept them here in Iowa last March. But they also have started off their season strong and are having one of the best starts in their program history. They were picked to finish 5th in the Mountain West preseason coaches poll. The Rebels returned 21 letter winners from last year's squad, including 4 starting position players and all 3 weekend starting pitchers. The team have welcomed 13 newcomers and 1 redshirt sophomore into the fold this season, and they have former Cub Greg Maddox on their coaching staff, so top coaching staff, obviously. But I think this should be a good and tough series, though, for both teams this weekend.
Yeah, it's not even close. This is going to be the best team Iowa has seen to date. They've only dropped a couple of games so far this season. You alluded to it. Big wins, a sweep they're coming off against Fresno State, beating teams like Oregon so far this season. They've been red hot down there, and they're ready to get back after the Hawkeyes. Iowa took all 3 from them when they came to Iowa City last time, and it wasn't an easy task. A lot of those came in the bottom of the 8th, bottom of the 9th innings. Iowa kind of stole away a couple of wins.
Yeah, I remember that, and they were all talking about that. We asked Tyler Cropley on Wednesday, what do you remember about UNLV? And he goes, I mean, come on, those wins.
Yeah.
All those walk-ins.
Rallies in the bottom of the ninth. Crazy.
Yeah. Well, here's what the guys had to say on their matchup with the Rebels.
But yesterday, I talked with Coach Sutherland about it, and he said that they got some returning guys up the middle at short and second, and then I think a guy in the outfield too. But then they had a kid get picked up in the draft who had a really big home run that we remember from last year against us.
It's going to be a good challenge for us this weekend. Going out there, it's a tough place to play to begin with, and then they're off to one of the best starts in school history and winning a lot of games. And they're super offensive team, it looks like, and we felt that way last year. We thought they were a really good offensive team when they came out here, and they were just so close last season. If you remember back to those 3 games, it could have went. Each game could have went either way, and they've got some guys back. They got 2 starters back on the weekend, and I just think that that added experience and the confidence that they have, and they have a really good coaching staff, so it's going to be a good challenge for us.
All right, well, I'm predicting repeat of last year. You thinking a sweep again?
That'd be nice. I think traveling down south, if you're able to win 2 games, you got to be really happy,
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
this UNLV team who's off to a great start.
Yeah, all right, well, that is it from us from the sports studio because Zach actually has to go catch a flight. But the Hawkeyes will take on the Rebels later tonight at 6:05 p.m. in Las Vegas. And you can actually listen to Zach on the call for the Hawks this entire weekend on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Have a great spring break, Iowa City, and a very happy St. Patrick's Day. Guys, back to you at the desk.
Each Friday, we here at DITV are proud to bring in the ICAC Animal of the Week. This is reserved for that one special animal at the Animal Care and Adoption Center who is ready to meet their new family.
This week, we are bringing back one of our all-time favorites, Pretty Girl. Pretty Girl is still looking for a home to call her own. She is partially blind and deaf, but that's hardly describes her personality. Pretty Girl is super lovable and full of energy.
Pretty Girl loves her treats and stuffed toys. She relies on her use of scent to guide herself around and needs a clutter-free home to take care for her. She's an older dog, however, families with older children would be a perfect fit for this loving pup.
It is true that Pretty Girl needs more care than other dogs, but she is willing to give back all of her love.
For more information on Pretty Girl and all animals up for adoption, please visit the ICAC website, call them at their phone number, or just stop by to meet your new best friend. Well, everyone, that's a wrap on this Friday morning edition of DITV.
Be sure to head over to dailyiowan.com with all your latest news between Monday and Friday.
If that isn't enough of the Daily Iowan for you, be sure to check out our print edition of the news on stands now.
And before we leave, we're going to leave you with some extra footage of Pretty Girl from DITV. I'm Susanna Kloster.
And I'm Becca Scadden. Have a great day, Iowa City, and we'll see you here on the 19th, same time, same place.
Have a great spring break, Hawkeyes.